Welcome 11th grade to our virtual class, and today we will review our last topic and we will see a new one. So be very attentive to this topic today. Today we're going to review what verbals are, okay? So we were learning last time that we have three types of verbals: gerund, participle, and infinitive. So in every class, maybe like in 4 classes, we will have to see each one of them, okay? One after the other one, because they're very important for us to learn them, how to identify them. Now, what is a verbal phrase? Let's review this. A verbal phrase is a phrase that is centered around a verb form. This verb form is not used as a verb in the sentence, and it is used as a noun, adjective, or an adverb. There are 3 kinds, like we already said it: gerund, participle, and infinitive. Now, the participles, they act as an adjective in the sentence, and they end in ing, d, ed, and en, and nt. So remember that for us to understand all these, review your verbs. I know this is something that you guys learned before. This is something that you also learned from elementary, from primary, but just remember your verbs, please. Now, what participles are? Participles are verb forms that act like adjectives. They can end in all these endings that we already learned. They will come as close as they can to the noun they're modifying, and they can come before or after the noun it modifies. Now let's see some examples here. The pronoun clown fell down. We have the article, the adjective, and the noun. But they can also come in the middle. The clown, comma, frowning at the crowd, fell down. Also, at the beginning, the very beginning, as a phrase. Frowning at the crowd, the clown fell down. So you can see that the last one is a verbal phrase because it has a preposition too. Now, participle phrases may fall at the beginning of the sentence. If so, it will be separated from the sentence with a comma. Example: bent by the wind, the tree finally fell over. Remember that this is just a review from our last class. Now, today we're going to learn gerunds. We will do some exercises from participles and from gerunds too. So what is a gerund? A gerund reacts or acts actually in the sentence as a noun, and they mainly have the ing ending form. They act as a noun in different ways, and we will see it here now. Gerunds or gerund phrases center around a verb from ending in ing. It's always used as a noun. Is never surrounded by commas except for appositives, so they can be in appositives. So be careful. Ing verb forms can also be verbs or adjectives. These are not gerunds. We will see them. And we have 6 noun positions, and I want you to see this right now. So we understand that not every word that is ending in ing is a gerund. For instance, morning, evening, something, nothing, anything, everything. They're not gerunds, okay? And we'll see why. So let's see these examples first. Swimming the mile is my best event. I like swimming the mile. My best event is swimming the mile. I gave swimming the mile a try. He lectured us about swimming the mile. My best event, swimming the mile, was canceled. So now let's see some answers. They all are gerunds, just like they react in different ways. For example, swimming the mile is my best event. Swimming the mile is a subject. Okay, it's acting as a subject. I like swimming the mile is acting as direct object because you're talking about swimming the mile. My best event event is swim in the mile because you're talking about the predicate nominative, and this is something that you might have not seen before, but we're not going deep into this. Okay, it's just a predicate because it has a verb. Okay, it's also talking about a verb. Now, I gave swim in the mile a try. Indirect object. So you're also talking about it, but in an indirect way. We will not go deep into this. We will just go into the identifying the gerunds only. And maybe in the next classes we will see direct and indirect objects or predicate nominatives. Next one, he lectured us about swim in the mile. That is object of a preposition. Can you see about is a preposition? So if that comes, if a preposition becomes before a gerund, that becomes an object of a preposition, but still is a gerund. My best event, swim in the mile, was canceled. This is very fresh for us. This is in a positive, but also swimming, right? The word swimming is a gerund, but in and or as in a positive. So I know that this can be kind of tricky, but it's good for us to understand this. This topic is just like a like a summary of everything that you guys have learned so far, not only in 11th grade, but in the other grades. I know, and I'm very sure that you guys have gone over most of these topics, like subjects, direct objects, indirect objects, predicate nominatives, and object of preposition. So I know that you guys have gone over this before, but don't worry, we will just identify them, okay? Now, let's see these examples. His sister was dancing in the snow. In the show. I hate practicing the piano. I gave my mom's cooking a perfect 10. Sitting by the pool is quite relaxing. Wishing upon a star, Sue imagined a better life. While I was walking on the beach, I found a $10. So let's see how that works. Now, his sister was dancing in the show is not a gerund. Why? Because it is a verb phrase. Because we have was, which is a helping verb for dancing. So when we have two verbs together, they're not gerunds. Okay, be careful with that. They're not gerunds. They're just a verb phrase. Now, I hate practicing the piano is a direct object, and that is a gerund. I gave my mom's cooking, so my mom's cooking is indirect object. Sitting by the pool is quite relaxing, that is a subject. Wishing upon a star to imagine a better life is not a gerund, it's a participial verb phrase. While I was walking on the beach, I found a $10. It's not a gerund, it's a clause. Yes. So yes, you can see that I found a $10 is a main clause, and the while I was walking on the beach is a subordinate clause. That means that doesn't make sense on its own. Now let's see. We're going to practice, and this is very simple. It's not as hard as I taught you right now. Just I wanted to show you all this because it's kind of deeper. But in our book, we will find this on page 519, exercise 9. So please go, well, if you have your book, go over that paper. Go over that page 519, exercise 9. So the instruction says list the gerunds and gerund phrases. So you just have to identify them, okay? So you will write the gerunds or gerund phrases in a list on your notebook. And exercise number 10, I want you to just, well, you will have to do all the 20 because there are 20 ones. There are 20 exercises. And it says you will have to distinguish, okay, between participles and gerunds. Participles from the last topic that we learned and I just reviewed, and gerunds, that the one that we just learned. Each of the following sentences, it says, has a verbal phrase. Has a verbal phrase. copy the verbal phrase. I'm reading your book. Copy the verbal phrase or the verbal or verbal phrases and tell whether it is a gerund or gerund phrase or a participle or participle phrase. So actually, don't copy the sentence. Do the same. Just write your answer, okay? Don't copy the sentence. Just like write the phrase, and then in parentheses or in brackets, you will say it's a gerund phrase or it's a participle phrase, okay? So I will be here in case you guys have any questions. So don't worry. If you want to read all this information again, do it. Please do it. If you want to watch our videos from the live sessions or what we did before, please watch it or watch them. They will be very helpful for you. Okay? Goodbye, 11th grade.